gotta get myself ready to go live somewhere else. Now, let's see. Is this, what date is this? This is the wrong date. So, hey, what's that? Close the door. Welcome to the live chat. What is this? Wrong date. And it's sad when you hold on. So how do I get this? Damn. So what happens when you're not proficient at this computer stuff. So how do I open it? Boom. There we go. Open. Okay, there we go. Check your device. Stuff is too much. Okay. Gotta do too much to prove that it's me. Try another way. My phone. Tap yes on your phone or tablet. Okay. Resume. Got to resume. Resume. Got to resume. Okay. Something messed up. Now back. Too much. Am I in the house? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Too much.
I gotta turn this down. Hold on.
Am I in the house? All right. So. Well, I'm gonna try this again.
You have to jump off?
Huh?
I was thinking, can't you share this to Facebook from your YouTube like you did last time?
Maybe.
I think you would tell people when you was live member before.
Yeah, but I was. That's something that have to be done. Either you do it or because I got my phone and I got my tablet and
okay.
my laptop.
Okay, I can share it.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
So it's too much going on. Well, I'm going to start off by saying hello, good evening. I'm Johnnie Bunting Jr., also known as The Force. I'm an entrepreneur, a six-figure making entrepreneur, and my idea was to be able to do a workshop, a webinar, whatever you want to call it. I wanted to get people together so that I can talk to them, explain to them, teach them, inspire them to do their own thing, because there's a lot of people who are in the process or in the midst of doing their own thing, but they're running across some sort of roadblock or roadblocks, and it becomes disheartening, and people be ready to give up. Sometimes it takes some inspiration, it takes a little bit of knowledge to get you over the hump. And where are you going to get it from? You have some people that they mean well, but they don't know enough. They will talk to you as far as, oh, you can do it. You can, all right. Sometimes that's great. Sometimes that's all you need, somebody to believe in you. But if you lack the knowledge and that's what's stopping you from getting over the hump, and you have someone that's saying you can do it, that ain't helping. I can do it. Well, I don't know how to do it. Can you help me learn how to do it? And sad thing is that, excuse me, there are times when we get in over our head. You could start something that in the initial vision, it appears that I have everything I need. And then as you start progressing and as you step out into the real world of it all, you start seeing that I am ill prepared. Some things just, it's just not transparent when you're on the outside looking in. Once you're in the midst of it, these things produce itself. For instance, financing. Um, I'm using myself as an example because I've done a lot of things. So there are some things that are easier to get into because I'm gonna call it the price of admission. How much it costs you to enter this game is lower. I was doing landscaping, and no, scratch that. I was doing yard work. Landscaping is a higher degree. I was doing yard work, meaning I was mowing lawns, cutting hedges, trimming. I was doing that. Now, my price of admission was low because all I needed was some equipment. I didn't need the most advanced equipment. I didn't have the most advanced equipment. I had archaic equipment, to be exact. And I had got on this site. I'm not going to say the name of the site simply because I don't really have much good to say about it. But it was a site that produces leads. You pay for leads. And I was a pro. So they got leads, they fed them to me. I had to pay for the leads. And some of the leads actually panned out. As I got more into it, I started seeing that they were sending me a bunch of BS leads. And that's why I don't have nothing good to say about them, because even though I made money, uh, they, in my eyes, they turned out to be a bigger ripoff than they were beneficial for me. Because when I complained about it, instead of giving me my money back, they gave me credit, which they ran up with some more bad leads. So it went like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, yo, listen, forget the credit, forget that. I want out. I'm not dealing with y'all no more. You should have just gave me my money back or gave me some good leads. Like, because I made money when I had proper leads. But at any rate, I got into that. Now, I had, for those of you who know anything about some yard work, you got hedge trimmers that you cut the hedges with. Now you have hedge clippers, which are like a big pair of scissors. Now, I was using those. I have now something that's gas powered, and you just go up and, but I was going back then. So I needed more money in order to buy the power, uh, uh, the gas powered lawnmower, the gas powered blower, the gas powered hedge trimmer. I had the handheld hedge trimmers. I had a electric lawnmower, meaning I had an electric lawnmower that had a plug. I had extension cord, and to cut somebody's yard, I had to ask them, "Yo, can I plug this in your house, like through a window, or unless you got an outlet outside, and then go?" It was madness. But at the time, it wasn't madness to me because it was me earning some money. So I was doing it as far as I could do it. But because I seen that you can't go but so far like this, especially when I had a client who didn't live there. He owned the house, but he didn't live there. So I was at the mercy of his tenants to be able to plug in. So the tenant on the first floor wasn't there. The tenant on the second floor was there. So I had to plug in from upstairs, throw the cord out the window, plug it into the lawnmower, and then go and then try to move, as I went to the other side of the house. Yo, listen, we got to move to this room. It was a headache. I got the job done, but I'm like, yo, listen, I have to do better. And in order to do better, I had to financially raise my game up to it. Now, this is a minor example because I'm only talking about getting a few $100s to be able to get some equipment. But imagine having a business where the proper equipment is going to cost you a few $1,000s and you don't have it. In my instance, what I'm speaking about, it only took me a few jobs to be able to raise the few $100s to buy a new piece of equipment. And I'm saying it just like I'm talking about a new piece of equipment. It's not like I was like, well, listen, I'm just gonna buy everything at the same time. Nope, I'm not gonna sit here in front. As I started off, I was like, yo, I gotta buy this. And then I went from the electric plug-in to the battery powered ion battery, which was way better than the electric as far as mobility, but these batteries didn't last long. So that posed another problem. But my point is, as far as me scaling the business, these are steps that I had to take that would have been easier, an easier transition had I had the funding. So my thing is to teach people about some of this, even using myself as an example, so that when it gets to you and you're looking at your situation and apply some of these principles to your situation, you can say, listen, I need some funding. I need to get this amount of money so that I can do this, that, and the third. You don't want to be, let's say, for instance, you set up a list of what you need and you go by the exact price. I'm talking about you say, okay, it costs $79.99 and with tax it come up to $86.01. If you can do all that and you come up to all of that, and then you say, okay, well, at the end of the day, I need $6,478.78. Okay, great. You're not going to ask for $6,788 and whatever. You're not going to do that. You should go a little bit higher, give yourself a little cushion. And I'm not saying you you need 6,000 and some change, you ask for 20. That's crazy. Well, but if you need 6,000 some change and you seek out 10, that ain't so bad. 7,500 is even a little better because it's closer to what you need and gives you a little cushion. But you get my picture. You don't want to go crazy, but you don't want to go to the exact penny because there might be something you forgot. And if you forgot something, you missed something, and then like, oh man, and you end up getting the funding, and you're like, damn, I missed this, and this was a integral part to what I'm trying to do. But for some reason, I either missed it or I didn't know it existed until that time came. An example about what I didn't know is when I was doing this stuff and I had my own business, I didn't have insurance. At the beginning, I didn't have insurance. So I was doing people's yards. It was hiring me, I do their yard, I get paid. It's cut and dry to me. Now, there was a situation where co-op, a co-op wanted something done. And they were negotiating with me. And it was like, okay, well, listen, you have to put us as additionally insured on your insurance. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And even though I didn't say it like that, that's how it went in my brain. And I was like, I asked more articulately, like, so what are you saying I have to do? It's like, listen, you have to put us as additionally insured in your insurance. That's the only way we let you in our building. Because we wanted, if something happens, we want to know that you're insured and you have us listed. So I got insured. And then when I end up doing work for a condominium complex, same thing, but I already had their insurance. So these are factors that could hinder you from progressing, from scaling, from expanding if you don't know nothing about it. Is it something major? It's something major in that it can help you to expand and scale, but it's not so major as far as the payments. Now, anything is expensive to someone who has nothing. So if you don't have it, then it's an expense that is crippling. But if you have it, or you got jobs, you have some type of income, then it's an expense well worth taking on. It can help you. There are several things that I would like to cover if I see that this is something worth keeping up. Meaning, all right, in order for you to get into business, what do you have to do? You got to get a business name. Because if you are thinking about it, meaning that if you haven't started, then you have to do these certain things at first. All right, get a name. You have to research the name. Because if you say, my name is Johnny's Burgers, all right, sounds great. And then you put it Johnny's Burgers and you're doing this, that, and the third, and then you get a call, an email, a text, or whatever. Listen, we're giving you a cease and desist order because we don't want you using Johnny's Burgers because there already is a company called Johnny's Burgers and you are infringing on their name. Then you got to go through the paperwork and everything to, change, dissolve whatever you have, and then start anew. And if you had already started making a name for yourself, it's like starting over. So you don't want to do that. It's better to do a little search, the name you want, see if it exists. And if it does exist, how can you tweak? Because if you dead set, I want Johnny in there, I want the burgers in there. All right, Johnny's Burgers and Fries. Like Johnny's Burgers and Buns. Like you can tweak it enough so that if someone's looking up Johnny's Burgers and Buns, they can differentiate that between Johnny's Burgers. So you want to be able to have yourself set apart, whereas you can make your money and you can stay out of legal trouble because some companies, if you're doing pretty well, they can sit back and let you rock. You got their company name and you're starting to do good, they'll let you rock. And then once you blow a little something, then they'll come at you. Because since they had the name first, they can make you relinquish the name. But if you gained fame with the name, then guess where that fame goes? To them. You changed the name, they kept the name. If people searching for the name, they're going to find them because you changed, you had to change, they made you change. These are just certain situations that you may stumble across. And I'm jumping around a little bit because I'm basically trying to give an overview of different things that I would cover in the aspect of educating you. My company is called Black Wall Street Private Lenders Corporation. That's one of my companies. And I chose the name Black Wall Street because in Tulsa, Oklahoma, before I was born, like in the 1940s or something like that, I can't remember the exact year, but there was a neighborhood of black businesses. And these people were wealthy. I don't know their net worth, but they were wealthy. They had businesses. The dollar circulated within their community multiple times, dozens of times before it left the community. So they supported one another. They helped each other grow. And let's say, hypothetically, you have a supermarket. This one has a dry cleaners. This one has a fast food. This one has a bar. And it's like, these are services that we utilize. So let's use it from each other. Now, if you have to get your warehousing supplies, you know, restock your shelves, if there's no black owned business that do that, then you have to take your money somewhere else. But as long as there was a way for you to support your own and to be able to keep yourself in business, that's what you did. Now, these non-blacks have grown envious, so there was a riot, and it was like a 24-hour period where they burned all the businesses down, burned them down. Now, am I promoting tragedy? No, I'm just giving a little bit of education on this, why I chose the name, because that is something worth repeating as far as having black businesses that support one another and help each other grow. Now, during the pandemic, a lot of people were sitting at home, they had nothing to do, and some created businesses like myself. I had business already, but I created more. Some just ordered online or do whatever. Some stayed home. A lot of stuff. A lot of people did a lot of things. But I was a part of a group on Facebook, and it was thousands, tens of thousands of people on this group. And they were complaining about this, about that, about that. And I don't remember the name of the group, but it was something dealing with black owned and supporting. That's why I got into the group, because I saw the name was dealing with black owned and supporting businesses, so on and so forth. And so in the group chat, somebody was saying like, we need to start something, to help each other out, so on and so forth, with which is an idea that I had years ago. And I'm sure other people had these ideas, but a lot of people did not act on it. So I was like, okay, this might be the calling for me to do this. So I set it up. I said something to the people in the chat, like, yo, listen, I'm doing this, that. I'm gonna see if I can do this. I set it up. I let them know. Did they come running to the site? All the tens of thousands of people? No. Nope. But just because they were all mouth and no action didn't take away from my vision. I still believe that it could happen, that it could come to fruition, that I could help people. It would be harder than if they would have just said, hey, let's go see what's up. But my thing is, a lot of times I talk to people one on one and I tell them things inspiring. I give them tips and all this stuff. I'm talking about free, not no one on one consultation. No, just kicking it, tell them something that I feel would help them. Now, this is what I believe in because I've lived by this. If you are a professional and I have a situation that your expertise could help, and I bring it to your attention, and you tell me how to do it, how to walk through it, how to correct the error, and you do this for free, you don't ask for no money. You know what I am going to think? Okay, he or she, the person helped me, and they didn't charge me anything. So this person is worthy of me spending money with. Because if I spend money with you next time, I already got one in the bag for free. So a lot of people like discounts. A lot of people like bargains. That's like two for the price of one. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to keep coming back to you and ask you to help me for free. You helped me for free, so you already showed me that you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. So that was your like interview, the screening process, where it's like, okay, this person knows what he's talking about or knows what she's talking about. So now when I come back, I can't keep coming back like, yo, can you do me a favor? Like, listen, if that's your profession, you don't just do favors in your profession. You're doing it to eat. So why should I disrespect you if I keep coming back for free? I don't want nobody to come back. Yo, can you come do my yard for free? No, I can't. Well, I did my grandmother's yard for free, but I didn't just go around the neighborhood shoveling snow and doing stuff for free. No, you gotta get paid. So give people the same respect. So my thing was, one of the things that I've done, and I've done it more than once, is I acquired businesses. My first one was acquiring the car wash in Mount Vernon. So what I mean by that is you're buying a business that's already established. So it already has a cash flow. It already has clientele. It's already known. So basically what you're doing is you're stepping in to cash flow. Now, will the business cost more than starting up? It sure will. But you have an expected amount of income that you expect to receive because of past results. The past reputation of the business can show you that, okay, well, not to mention receipts, paperwork, digital or hard copy, where you saying you're being provided proof that the company made this amount of money last year. And I went before getting a car wash, we went and sat out there. Because my father and I, excuse me, my father and I went and sat out there and we watched how they was making money. Like, okay, this is something worth investing in. I see money. I see cars moving. I see money to be made. And this move was my first step into the six digits. I had already had a business, already had businesses, but I was not at that level. I was grassroots, meaning I was starting from zero with my businesses, and starting from zero to scale for me was not an easy road. Now, there are people who start from zero, depending on the field that they're in, that making $1 million might seem to be a failure. Like, listen, I'm in a multi-billion-dollar industry, and all I made is $1 million last year. I'm at the lower portion of. All right, whatever. Other people would be like $1 million is a lot, but getting back to the scale that I was on, doing these yards, and I'm gonna be honest, when I stepped into the arena, in order for me to be able to seal those deals, when I made those calls and was talking to those people about doing their yards and they said, how much? I gave them a price like I was fresh off, like I just came to America and and just wanted to make some money. It's like, oh, I'll do your yard for $30. Like, one client, my very first contract, and what I mean by that is where I was locked in. I had other clients that, all right, we do the yard today, boom, and I'll call you again if I need you. I'm talking about I locked this guy in for years. I remember how much, because we negotiated this. He talked me down. He gave me $91 per month to do his yard every week. And I accepted it. I accepted it because he initially paid me for the year up front. So I was like, you gonna pay me for the year? If I had 91, so I'll pay you for the year. And we every week, that was a payday for me. So I accepted it. He sent me the money. I was coming to his house every week. And then he was like, okay, well, in the fall, fall and winter where, it's not, grass is not really growing like that. He's like, listen, you don't have to come every week because the grass ain't growing like that. In the fall, you come, you know, blow, bag up the leaves and nothing. But once all the leaves are going off the trees, it's get winter, you could come once a month. That was him relenting because our contract was for me to come each week. Now, I'm saying all this to show you how I was thirsty to track something down, whereas I took short money. But when I bought the business that was already making decent money, I stepped into six figures. I bought the car wash on May 30th, 2018. By December 31st of 2018, I already made $100,000. And that was 6 months' time. And I ain't never see less than $100,000 a year since. And I don't even have the car wash no more. I don't even have the car wash no more. My thing is, and I say this because I believe this. If I can do something one time, I can duplicate it. Now, I duplicated it with the car wash, but once I left that industry, I was already growing my same grassroots business that was doing the yards. I just changed up what I was cleaning. I was still cleaning, but even the yards, I got better. I got better equipment and I raised my prices. That $91 per month client, I lost him because he didn't want to change the contract. And I didn't mind losing him because I had he had a neighbor that abutted, so their backyards touched each other. So by me doing his yard, the neighbor going to their backyard and saw me, asked me to do their yard. So I ended up having two clients right back to back. And client number two was paying $200 a month. And this person's paying $91 a month. So I'm like, yo, listen, this person is paying more than double of what you're paying and getting half because I was going there twice a month. I was going there, and I'm talking about the summer months. I was going there 4 times a month and going over there twice a month. And I'm getting paid twice as much. So I didn't mind losing that client because in my head, I'm like, yo, listen, this is too much work for too little money. The good thing was that they were back to back. So it's like, yo, I did them both when I came around. that was a good thing. But that's only twice a month. So that means the other 2 times that I was coming there, it was just for this yard. And the distance that I was traveling to do it was like, yo, these were my furthest clients. So it's not like where I was living at the time when I started this, I was living in Mount Vernon, and this was in the Bronx. And the Bronx is connected to Mount Vernon. They're right next door neighbors. But the part of the Bronx that I was going to, it was close to Queens. Like you just cross the bridge and you're in Queens. So I was at the lower part of the Bronx, and I'm like, yo, why am I coming down here and I'm about to raise the prices to everybody? And I assumed that the person was going to go for it because I had got their neighbor next to them. So I had the neighbor behind them and then the neighbor on the same side of them next to them where I did their yard occasionally. I didn't do their yard on no schedule. I did it. They called me. Boom, come do it. All right, I'll be there on such and such date. I'll knock you out too. Boom. And there were several other people that I had 1 time, 2 times in that neighborhood because they saw me around there. And I was the type of person that you can approach me and say, how much you do this? And I'll be like, all right, well, here's my price. I can do it now. My thing was closing the deal. Like, listen, you accept my price. I got my equipment with me, so I might as well knock this out because I'm not sure when I'm come back. And let's get it done. So I'm saying all this to say that I was able to scale up by raising my prices and getting rid of some of the deadbeat because they had me at a slave wages and they wanted to keep me there and I didn't want to stay there. And so I lost some of my clients because when I first started, they're not the only one that got low prices. They just was the lowest one. But I had another client that paid me for the year as well, and he had 2 houses next door to each other. But I had changed the game, so to speak, is I was doing snow removal. So I was given a price, $200 a month. Doesn't matter how many times it snows in a month. You got to pay me $200. If it doesn't snow, you still got to pay me $200. So it was basically a gamble. Whereas for $200 a month for your property, I'm gonna take care of it. Boom. Now it's basically had to be 2 inches or more. 2 inches or more, I'm there. If it snows 5 days back to back, I gotta come there 5 days back to back for the same $200. But if the 30 days go by and it don't snow once, hey, you still gotta pay. Now this guy, he said, yo, listen, I got 2 houses, boom, boom, can I get a discount? I gave it to him. And he paid me, because it's a 4 month thing. You know, the winter months is, you're basically going by 4 months. So he paid me for the 4 months. Boom. And that's fine when it's not snowing. That's fine. Boom. But a couple of them years, I had like 3 or 4 storms, and it's they make you earn your money. So, like I was saying, I went from growing the business, the grassroots business, which took me years to build, to scale, and I stepped into the car wash game. Immediately was going 6 figures. When I got rid of the car wash, my company, which was doing the slow trot, started picking up pace. Now I had the co-op situation that I was talking about where they made me put them as additionally insured. That was for a clean out, which means I go in there as an estate clean out. Somebody died, they wanted me to come in, clean, take everything out the apartment, throw it away, and transfer some furniture from one unit to the next because they was keeping some stuff. Boom. Now another condominium complex wanted me long-term contract. They wanted me to clean their halls and the stairwell, and the outside. So I had to do interior and exterior cleaning. I had to do the lawn, I had to do the leaves, I had to do the interior, I had to do the common areas. And all right, I did that for like a year, 2 years. They had money issues. But then I got another commercial situation where I was doing um, trash compactors and garbage chutes and residential buildings, high rise buildings in the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens. And I'm talking about um, sometimes I do over 100 buildings in a year. So there's there was growth in that business, but it took some time. But once it's like once the car wash disappeared, I had already was in the position of scaling this. So that went up, and then I got into the vending machines, and I bought vending machine routes. So I have multiple accounts and multiple vending machines. So I'm still doing that, and not to mention I have tenants. So one of the things that I promote to people is if you want to have 6 digits or even 7 digits, the the potential is limitless, but you have to have multiple streams of income. There's some people that can have the right industry and hit a home run, like Elon Musk. His baby, people say Tesla, but it ain't that. It's that space age. Like you sell one rocket, like like that's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like this is okay. If if I sold lollipops for $1 each, I'd have to sell 1 million lollipops to make $1 million. And that's just net. That ain't saying how much I would put in my pocket because it's not like you're getting the lollipops for free. But if you have, if you're in an industry where you sell one thing costs $20 million, then making $1 million is not a big deal to you. So depending on your industry, it may be easier to get a lot of money. But these are the things that you have to consider, especially if you haven't made the leap yet. I went looking online to buy another business before I got the vending machines and even after. But before I got that, I was looking and I seen bread trucks where they do deliveries of a Wonder Bread, Hostess, and I don't want to say all the named brands, but I'm just making these name brands up off the top of my head because I've seen a bunch of different name brands. And a lot of these trucks was grossing 300 and something thousand in a year. Gross means this is how much you make in general. Now, when you have expenses and all that, that's not your net profit. Your net profit is when you take away the expenses from the gross. But I'm just saying 300,000 gross because there's a lot of businesses that don't make 300,000 gross. So hearing those numbers is letting you know there's some business being done. Now, they were saying most of them, the net was like a third, less than a third, like a fourth of the gross. But still, if you're getting 70 something thousand dollars off net in a year, that's still good because a lot of people don't make $70,000 take home. So don't sneeze at that or don't turn your nose up at that because that's good. My thing was with that is that my transition from the car wash where I was there 7 days a week, 8, 10 hours days, and then the drive because I moved from Mount Vernon, so the drive was another hour, hour and a half if there's traffic. So I was like, yo, I don't want to leave one business where I was away from the house for a long period of time to go to another business to do the same thing. So I chose to step my game up as far as I want to do bigger things, as far as have more time, have more, you know, time for myself, time for my family. So I couldn't do that. Vending machines allows me to be able to create my own schedule, to make money, and to still have extra time, family time, the time to do other business moves and stuff. Because a lot of times when I'm doing these buildings, cleaning these buildings, I have like a schedule. Like, okay, I'll be there from 8 to like 1, 2 o'clock or whatever. And then I'll go take care of some vending machines till like most of the places that I deal with close at in between 4 and 5. But then there's some businesses that I have accounts with where they're open 24. Like, some nursing homes and stuff like that, they don't close. They open all day, every day. So I was able to maneuver these things. And even with the vending machines, I looked at that, analyzed, and said, how can I make this better? Because these vending machines, a lot of them were, it's cash business, but it doesn't have to be all cash. But some of these vending machines didn't have card readers on it, so all they could take is cash. And a lot of people don't carry cash. So I went to the different locations. It was like, I'm thinking about putting a card reader in here. And it was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I did that, and then the sales went up. So I made certain moves to scale these businesses. Now my business is more valuable than it was when I stepped into the game. First off, because I put card readers on a bunch of machines. And second, I bought another route. I expanded the route. So I bought another one and consolidated. So I have even more accounts and more machines. But this is not a thing where I'm bragging about myself. This is just a way for me to explain to you that the wave is getting an established business. And I might be able to help you to get it. Now, I've done this. I'm telling you some stuff that I've done. You have baby boomers. Baby boomers is basically people who were born in certain years. I don't know the last year of it, but people that was born in the 40s, probably 50s, then it turns into Generation X, but I'm not sure when it stops. But the baby boomers are retirement age, and you know they're passing 65. So a lot of these business owners, they want to get out of the game, and they do not have someone that they're comfortable with leaving it to for whatever reason. So instead of doing that, they will sell it, get their money, and ride off into the sunset. Now, some of these baby boomers aren't greedy, meaning they will give you a good price in order to cash out, and they will even work with you. They have something called seller financing. Now, seller financing is where the seller holds the note. So the seller becomes the bank. In a regular transaction where you don't have all the money, there becomes a middleman that does the financing, which is usually a bank, a credit union, or some form of institution that will take a note from you, basically a IOU. So it's like a debt instrument. I'm just saying IOU so that you can understand what I'm saying. They are they're creating a debt with you. All right. Let's use $50,000 for an example. You want to buy a business for $50,000. You don't have $50,000. So you go to a bank or a lender or somebody else as the middleman, whereas you borrowed the $50,000. Now, for the transaction, so they're not giving it to you. They're giving the money to the person that's selling it. So they're making a transaction for you. In turn, you create an instrument with them where you're saying, I promise to pay you X amount of money through X amount of time. And the interest rate is as such, whatever they determine it to be. And so now the deed and all the rights get issued to you to take over that business and to do business. That's like the conventional way. Seller financing is there's no middleman. It's the owner of the business doing business with the purchaser. They create a debt instrument where the purchaser is saying, I agree to give you X amount of money as a down payment. We're going to use $50,000 as the example so that I could keep a number with it. I'm going to give you 25% of it, which is $12,500. So $12,500 is the down payment. Now, the other 47.5 is the debt that's to be paid over a certain period of time. Let's use 4 years as an example. So we're going to pay the rest of it over 4 years with a 7% interest. So for the sake of discussion, the person is saying, I'm going to give you the keys to my business. I'm using keys as an example. Boom. I'm going to give you the rights to my business for $12,500 and a promise to pay me the 47.5 with the 7% interest that will mathematically be structured and tacked on so that you have a payment schedule that you have to follow month after month for the next 4 years. Now, here's the kicker, what makes this so sweet. What makes this so sweet is the seller had the business. So the seller knows the money that the business is making. And he or she should know, okay, well, listen, if my money keeps making this amount or more, the business pays for itself. And you as the buyer, it's like, listen, all I got to do is come up with the 12.5. The rest of it, the business is going to pay for itself. And there's going to be extra, which becomes my profit. And I put that in my pocket. I'll pay this person every month, whatever we agree on. But now I put myself in a position, whereas I'm the business owner of this business, which makes X amount of money per year, and it costs me 12.5 to get and in a contract. So you put yourself under contract, you get in the door, you start making money. And if you're able to grow it, to scale it, you're good. So that's what I'm pushing to people. These people are trying to get out of the game so they can get into retirement, and they're willing to do these creative forms of financing just so they can get out. And if their business is making money, they know, like, as long as you take care of my business, you will be able to pay me and still make money. But if you go in and you mess up, then you mess it up for everybody. But at the end of the day, when you got the paperwork, the contract, if you default on a contract, the business can revert back to the seller. So you can lose that business if you don't uphold your point in making the payments. It's similar to repossessing a car. You make a deal with a finance company or a bank or whatever to make payments, and then you stop making payments, they could come take it because they hold the actual deed to the business. They or it depends on how they do it, because they might not. they may have a lien. You may hold the deed and they have a lien on it. So there's different ways that you can do it. So I just wanted to point that out. So if there's anybody who done this actual work and they done it differently, they won't think that I'm sitting here lying. Um, so I just got to tell you these different ways of making money and doing things, and I could help to get financing on different things. And the good thing is, if I help you to get financing to buy a company, you don't have to pay me nothing. I'd make money from the people that's lending the money. I won't make no money from you. So me helping you is just that, me helping you. So it helps you to get yourself in the door, to make some money, to buy a business. It helps me because I'm able to go to the lenders that I know, make a deal, I make some money, you get a business. So win-win all around the board. So if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to put it in the chat or whatever, and I will address it. But I would like to continue to do weekly segments where I touch on stuff, but I want to do it whereas I actually have like a curriculum because I want to take you step by step because there's different forms of ways of doing business. Sole proprietorship, partnership, LLC, S corp, C corp, PLLC. Like there's different ways of doing it, and there's different methods of getting funding. And I'm gonna give you a small example so that anybody that's listening and has some type of knowledge, they'll know that I know what I'm talking about. For instance, real estate. You have people that buy real estate just to live in. You have people that buy real estate so that they can buy and hold. You may rent it out, but the purpose is you buying it and you're not doing nothing with it. You're holding it to make money with it that way. You have people that buy and they fix and flip. Now I just gave you 3 examples. Buy to live in, buy and hold for investment purposes to rent out, and fix and flip. These 3 different methods, I have 3 separate ways of getting funding. So depending on what you plan to do, we have to go this way, or this way. You don't buy a house to live in and go to a lender that specializes in fix and flip. You're not going to get no money from them because you took it to the wrong person. You understand what I'm saying? It's like going into the bookstore talking about you want to borrow a book. And be like, this ain't the library. You go to the library for that. We sell books. We don't lend them out. Same thing. You go into the wrong place looking for something, you're going to get denied. You have to know exactly what you want, and then I can show you exactly where to get it from. So, and I'm not saying I'm the be all, end all, know all of it all, because I'm not. But I know enough and I have enough contacts to be able to help get you through and make moves. So, that being said, I'm going to end this because I do my recordings and stuff, and I want people to be able to go back and look at the segments and take this as a step by step. And this is the intro. So, y'all all be safe. You have a good night. Take it easy. I am out.